Welcome to the Process Breakdown Podcast, where we talk about streamlining and scaling operations of your company, getting rid of bottlenecks, and giving your employees all the information they need to be successful at their jobs. Now, let's get started with the show.
Dr. Jeremy Weiss here, host of the Process Breakdown Podcast, where we talk about streamlining and scaling operations of your company, getting rid of bottlenecks, and giving your staff everything they need to be successful at their job. Today, we have Tom Schwab of Interview Valet. Before I formally get Tom to it and have him walk us through what some of the stuff that he works on, Tom, I always like to point out past guests that we've had on the podcast. We've had David Allen of Getting Things Done, Michael Gerber of The E-Myth, and many, many more. So check out the more episodes of the podcast. And this episode is brought to you by SweetProcess. And if you've had team members ask you the same questions over and over again, and it may be the 10th time you spent explaining it, well, there's actually a better way. There is a solution. SweetProcess is a software that makes it drop dead easy to train and onboard new staff and save time with existing staff. And I was talking with one of the owners, Owen. Not only do universities, banks, hospitals, and software companies use them, but actually first responder government agencies use them in life or death situations to run their operations. So I was like, oh, and if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. You could use SweetProcess to document all the repetitive tasks that eat up your precious time and your team's time so you can focus on growing and empowering the team. So sign up for a free 14-day trial, no credit cards required. Go to sweetprocess.com. It's sweet like candy, SWEET process.com. I'm here with Tom Schwab, Interview Valet. And Tom, thanks for joining me, and tell people a little bit about Interview Valet and what you do.
Well, thanks, Jeremy. And, we are a podcast interview marketing service. So what that means is I believe obscurity is everybody's biggest problem, right? You could help so many people if they only knew about you. And this idea that you're breaking through the noise, most of the time we're just adding to it. So we help brands, authors, coaches, consultants get featured on targeted podcast interviews so they can tell their story. They can speak to their ideal customer and turn other people's listeners into their customers.
They don't have to be the best kept secret anymore, right?
Exactly.
So what's the biggest challenge that your clients and customers come to you with?
It's really that what you said, that best kept secret there. So they serve a lot of people. And now with, people going remote, the internet, they can serve great geographies, but they realize what they're doing is not working, right? The Facebook paid ads are getting more expensive and working less. All the tricks, the webinars, other things like that, just don't seem like they're working as well. And especially some of their clients that have higher ticket issues or higher ticket products or really a relationship sale. They realize that big fish don't swim through funnels and whales don't click. It's going to take a conversation. So the question is, how can they have a conversation at scale? And pre-COVID days, they used to go out and travel all these places and speak on stages. And even now that, travel has come back, the stages haven't, right? And they're realizing that it's so much easier to jump on a podcast interview like this. But, they want to be the guest. They want somebody else to take care of the rest. And with there's over 4 million podcasts right now, they don't have time to find all the right ones. And they need a system so that they can move people from being a passive listener to an active visitor to an engaged system. And that's what we do. We've been doing it for over 8 years. Got a team of 30, all remote, and we bring a lot of expertise to it.
Tom, you have a lot of moving pieces with the company. You're always doing different outreach and a lot of incoming messages, outgoing messages. So I want to hear about your process and how you keep track of everything and how you discovered SweetProcess.
That's a great question and a great story there. There are a lot of moving parts, and we've been remote from the very beginning, right? When we started in 2015, I realized not everybody wanted to live in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and we serve a global audience. So we need a global team. We can't just tell somebody, we're open 9 to 5 East Coast time. That doesn't work. So we we have really focused on process. And when you're a company of one or two, you don't need a whole lot of processes, right? You just lean over and talk to the other person. But as we grew, the processes became more and more important. Also, so that we're all doing the same thing, but as we bring on team members, that we can get them up to speed quicker and quicker. So I have to say, the first time that I heard of SweetProcess, Michael Hyatt was talking about it on a podcast. And that had to be, I bet you, a decade ago. And at that time, I looked at it and I thought, I love this, right? As an engineer, this is so cool. And I took it to the lady that was running our operations at that time. And she's like, oh, no, the team will never do this, right? They'll never like this. So I just sort of put it on the back burner. And then as we grew, I saw that we were using weird systems to do it. We were trying to do some of it in Google Docs. We were trying to do some of it in Asana. And, it didn't work. And Owen, who you mentioned from SweetProcess, reached out to us to be a client. We actually we're a client of SweetProcess, and they're a client of ours. And so as we're going through the onboarding, a couple of our team members said, "Have you seen this product? This is awesome. Why don't we use this?" So it was actually our team that drove us to use that. And I've got to say, I thought it was going to be me implementing it and bringing everybody else along. Right. Well, really what it was is it was the team. They're like, oh, we've got to document all of this. And they're more and more now, then they ask me a question, I give them the answer, and they're like, hey, we just made a SweetProcess of that, so you don't have to answer that anymore. And they'll just share it amongst the team. So it's a long story, and I should have listened to all of my team sooner.
I love that, Tom. And I want to dig a little bit deeper on each of those things. So what you got pushed, why do you think the team member gave pushback? And then we'll talk about what did the team like about it when they discovered it? Why? Because I'm sure people are out there and they're like, I'm worried that I'm going to get pushback from the team or used to a certain way. Why do you think you got pushback from that team member?
I think that team member saw it more as art, that what she was doing, was only she could do it, and it would slow her down to do all of this. And if you're an artist and you're making one copy every time, I think that's true, but you can't scale that. The other thing is that you can't train that and teach that. So I think it was in some ways a control issue for her. But as we brought people on, it was really, really hard to teach them. And it was taking them the better part of 6 months to come up to speed. Now with the processes we have, the resources, we're getting people up to speed like in 30 days, and they're doing it consistently. And that's one of the things I've come to realize is that, 99.9% of the world wants to do a good job, right? There's always going to be that 0.1% of psychos, whatever. But let's not do it for them. So if they want to do a great job and they're not, I think as owners, as managers, we've got to look in the mirror and say, well, why not? Do they have the training? Do they have the systems? Do they have the resources that they need when they need them, right? And as a remote team, I've got people in Europe and North America. We've got one in Okinawa, right? I'm not available every hour for every day to answer the same question over and over. And honestly, Jeremy, you know me, I would probably answer it different every time. Better to put it in there and give the people the resources there. And what I found is that when we give them the resources and make it easy for them, then it makes them easy to flourish in their job, and they enjoy their job a whole lot more, right? They know what's expected. They know the process. They know how to do the magic trick, and then they can get the results.
I could see before, Tom, there was kind of fragmented places where things were living, and this is kind of a centralized place where everyone could find SOPs and what they need to do. And it was team driven. So it was like, this looks great. Let's use it. I'm wondering, how do you use it? So you mentioned the onboarding process. It's really helpful. What are some other use cases of how you use SweetProcess?
Oh, everything is in SweetProcess, right? So if it's price sheets, there's a document for it there. You don't have to go to the website and find that. If there's vacation policy, it's right there. This week we're doing check-ins with the founder, right? So twice a year, I have a call with each member of our team, right? And the agenda is in there, right? And we update it each time so people know what the agenda for the meeting is. All of our routine meetings, the agendas are in there. All of our training now, as we go through and do things, we come up with the training, we put it in there, and one of the senior people does it, and then one of the junior people tries to make it work, right? And if they can't follow it along or they have questions, they work together to improve it. So more and more, everything is in SweetProcess. And if it's not, the first thing we say is, oh, we need to add that, right? The next time you do it, yeah, it takes a little bit more time, right, to document it, but it saves so much time. And I'll give you an example, right? We use HubSpot. I love it, right? All the quotes are through that and everything. And one of the client account managers that was new said, hey, how do you make a quote in there? I've got a customer that wants to renew and everything. And in my mind, I'm like, I can do this. I can do it in 3 minutes in my sleep. And I'm like, no, this is not the right thing to do. It took me 15 minutes to completely document it. I sent it to her and I said, can you try going through this and see if it works? She went through, she had a couple minor changes to it. Jeremy, that was probably 4 months ago. No one has ever asked me that question again. And they're doing it consistently.
I love it. And that was actually got to my next question, which is what's been the biggest game changer for you? Because it sounds like one, consistency, two, it saves you time as an owner because things are off of your plate that maybe people will come to you with. Another is, the training and onboarding. Are there any other big game changers that come to mind with SweetProcess?
I think it's from the scalability, right? How fast can you bring great people on and bring them up to speed? As a business owner, scaling takes money, right? From marketing money to resources, all the rest of that. And if you look at adding a person, and if you say, well, it's going to take me all of this time for a senior person to train them, or we're not going to get value from them for 6 months, boy, that's painful. Whereas if you look at it and say, we can bring somebody on, so the right person will know within 30 days based on this. So to me, that's been a game changer from looking at scaling the business and doing it cost effectively.
How has it changed your typical day when you look back before SweetProcess and then now?
I have a lot less text, Slack messages, and emails from the team asking, how do you do this? And I'll be honest, early on, everybody wants to be the wizard, right? As entrepreneurs, business owners, sometimes we like being the firefighter, the hero that puts it out. I know everything, right? But the problem is so many times now as the company's grown, I don't know all those little things. And so when somebody asks me, heck, now they don't even ask, right? Because they'll go to SweetProcess, put it in there, find out what they need. If they can't find it, usually the question is to a peer, hey, where is this in SweetProcess? They don't come to me and say, how do you do that? And the thing is that as I travel more, as I evangelize for the company, it frees me up to do the things that I only can do.
Love it. It's a self-sustaining system because the staff is able to run it and run with it. What's, Tom, people are listening, this is about operations. What's the next step someone listening should take to start to streamline operations?
I am not, even though I'm a mechanical engineer by degree, I'm more of the visionary than the implementer. So on the operations, I struggle with time with that, right? I'll give you direction. I'll tell you, hey, next week we're going to Florida, right? There's the big vision, but how are we getting there? Where we're staying, what do we need to pack? Those are the details that I don't focus on as readily. And so I think I find that I have to have my team own it, right? So to give them the vision of why this is important, why this will make their life easier, what the vision is of what we're going for, and then support them in what they're doing and give them the tools too, right? Because we tried to do it on the cheap, right? Well, we've got Google Sheets. Can't we just do it on Google Sheets? And could you? Yeah, you probably could, but it's going to take so much time. It's just going to be frustrating. Get the right tool for the right job, and also one that's scalable. And that's one of the things that one of our clients taught us is think about where you want to be 6 months from now, a year from now, and make sure you've got the systems to implement it. Because if you don't have the time to do it now, when you're twice the size, you won't have the time because all you'll have is twice the problems.
Love it. So where you started was, you're ready to implement SweetProcess, setting the vision for it and get everyone on board. And they were already on board because they brought it to you. And then for any individual process, you may set here's what we need done, and they'll execute on it.
Correct.
Is that right? Great. Tom, first of all, thank you. I want to point people to check out Interview Valet and everything you're doing there. Check out more episodes of Process Breakdown and SweetProcess. And thanks again.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all you do. And, I always say my microphone makes me sound good. My team makes me look good. And SweetProcess helps the team do it consistently.
Thanks for listening to the Process Breakdown podcast. Before you go, quick question. Do you want a tool that makes it easy to document processes, procedures, and/or policies for your company so that your employees have all the information they need to be successful at their job? If yes, sign up for a free 14-day trial of SweetProcess. No credit card is required to sign up. Go to sweetprocess.com, sweet like candy, and process like process.com. Go now to sweetprocess.com and sign up for your risk-free 14-day trial.
Hi, this is Owen, the CEO and co-founder here at SweetProcess. If you've enjoyed listening to this podcast interview, actually, you know what I want you to do? Go ahead and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. That way we get more people aware of the good stuff that you get here on this podcast. Again, go on to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. Looking forward to reading your review. Have a good day.